Good evening. You're listening to Myth and Mist, your one-stop podcast for killers, thrillers, and chillers of the Pacific Northwest. I'm Genevieve.
I'm Haley.
Thank you for tuning in tonight.
Happy.
I was going to say a very special episode. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say happy holidays.
Happy holidays. It's a happy holiday special episode.
We thought it would be fun to do a special holiday episode about our hometowns, and we have a couple listener stories about their hometowns.
For me, I feel like the fun part of the holidays is like the time leading up. Because then when you actually get to Christmas, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, Christmas sucks.
Christmas actually kind of genuinely bums me out.
Absolutely.
The month of can be kind of fun if you're into that sort of thing. So
yeah, totally.
If you're not into that sort of thing, hopefully you're into weird, scary stories.
Yeah. Ghost stories are a big part of like Christmas. So
yeah, I mean, look at Christmas Carol.
Yeah,
it's all about ghosts.
All about ghosts.
It's actually kind of scary. We have some good ones. We did get some listener submissions. We got a couple.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know who you are. Thank you. Should we just dive right in?
Yeah. Let's go and get started.
Let's dive in. To kick us off tonight, I have a story from a long time ago. It's from where I grew up, which is Cleveland, Ohio. And it's called the Beehive School.
Oh. No, we're busy.
Lay
we
down.
Just gotta lay down.
Lay down.
No, Rhubarb, lay down.
Lay down.
Hey. Lay down.
Rhubarb, lay down.
Rue, no.
It's not time to kiss.
This isn't the time, babe. Come on.
Rhubarb, lay down. When I was 16, I had developed a habit of breaking into abandoned buildings in inner-city Cleveland as a means of coping with a traumatic event I'd suffered 2 years prior. It was like the trajectory of my personality shot off in another direction. I stopped associating with my friends and became very reclusive. At school, I was angry and aggressive. At the time, I was 5'1" and weighed about 100 pounds. Believe me, I know how stupid it was. I knew then, too. Truth be told, the risk to my safety was what drew me to urban exploring in the first place. The first time I broke into a building, I didn't bring anything with me but a flashlight and one of those retractable batons you get at the Army surplus store. I went room to room in this old factory, practically begging someone to come out and fuck with me. I wanted to fight for my life. I didn't care about the outcome, really, just needed to prove that I could. But the building was empty. I didn't encounter a soul. Instead, I ended up wandering through the old place, marveling at how beautiful it was in there, how nature had started to reclaim the metal and concrete, the way the curling lead paint mirrored peeling tree bark. I listened to water drip from a source I couldn't find, as it echoed through the cavernous halls. I left with a sense of peacefulness I hadn't felt in over 2 years. Since that first trip, abandoned buildings became a sort of sanctuary. There was always that underlying risk of danger, but it was coupled with quiet and comfort. It was just this perfect cocktail of fear and calm that made me feel like I was living in the present for once. After my 4th or 5th building, I started bringing a camera with me. Every building felt different, and I wanted to document the subtleties of each visit. By the time I heard of the Beehive School, I'd been in over a dozen abandoned buildings peppering the greater Cleveland area. Most of them were located in highly sketchy neighborhoods. I felt pretty seasoned at that point, and somewhat desensitized to the inherent dangers of exploring. I'd learned what to bring with me, how to research the area and plan the trip, which gangs were affiliated with the neighborhood, if any, etc. So one afternoon, I hopped in my little car and took a drive. The school was located on the far east side of Cleveland Heights, nestled in the middle of a low-income residential neighborhood. No security cameras, or even a no trespassing sign posted from what I could tell. I got out of my car, and a young woman in her yard approached right away. She was wrangling 2 young children and balancing an infant on her hip. She asked me what my business was in the neighborhood. Now, prior to this, most of the buildings I'd explored were in pretty isolated industrial areas. This was the first time I'd run into anyone, let alone someone who seemed suspect of my intentions. But I showed her my camera and told her I was a student and I was hoping to take pictures for my art class, which was a lie. Her face brightened. "Oh, you're a photographer? You want to take my picture with my kids?" "Well, sure," I said. I'd be happy to take their picture, but I wasn't really there to photograph people. She frowned a bit and asked what I meant. I pointed to the school. Her expression instantly changed. "You want to go in there?" I told her yes. She stared blankly a second, eyebrows raised, then sighed and shook her head and sort of laughed out a, "You're crazy." I asked her why. What was in there? "I don't know what's in there," she said, kind of defensive. She was very serious when she told me she sure as hell didn't go in there or let her kids go anywhere near that school. She asked me what I was trying to do in there. I told her again that I just wanted to look around and take some photos for my fake art class. She seemed skeptical still and just kept shaking her head and repeating that I was crazy. I told her I was going in, but that I would be careful and wouldn't stay long. Then I asked if my car would be okay where I'd parked it for an hour or so, and she said she'd keep an eye on my car for me while I was inside in exchange for $20. I walked up to the building, prepared to climb the fence, but it didn't take long to find a person-sized hole in the chain link. The front entrance was boarded up, so I looped around the perimeter to try and find a way in. I figured I'd have to do some climbing, but I got lucky again. The back door hadn't been secured like the front, the boards covering it warped in a way that kept it from closing. I pulled on it and it opened. Inside it was quiet and cool and blue. I remember being struck by that right away, the blue. Floor to ceiling down the hallway, everything was the color of murky ocean. The paint was peeling, curling away from the walls in thick coils. I started down the hallway, ducking into rooms here and there. I was alert, maybe even more so than usual, heeding the words of the local girl. I remained hyper-vigilant regarding my surroundings, but the school was very quiet, very still. I wandered from room to room, snapping pictures here and there. To my surprise, there was still a lot of stuff inside. There were posters and newspaper articles taped to classroom walls, textbooks still stuffed into lockers, papers scattered on the ground. I picked one up and found that it was actually the file of a former student, complete with name, address, social security number. Why would the staff leave student-sensitive documents laying around like garbage? In the nurse's office was a vase with a bouquet of withered flowers next to the telephone. Dead, of course, but still upright. Curtains still on the rods, furniture dusty but intact. The deeper I went, the more it seemed like the school's inhabitants had just vanished in the midst of a normal day. The closest thing I can compare it to is like when you're going through a bad breakup and you say, "Fuck it, let your ex keep all the stuff you've accumulated just so you can make a faster getaway." That was the feeling I got there. Haste. It made the school feel chaotic despite being empty. As I made my way to the basement, I noticed a shift in the temperature, but that was to be expected. Heat rises, duh. Even as dumb as I was back then, I knew that. I descended the stairs, flashlight in hand, beam going strong. I was dead set on finding the gym for some reason, I remember. Not sure why. I started to meander through the halls. It was much darker down there, as there were no windows, but I had my light. I remember low ceilings and walls that were like textured white cinder blocks. Then out of nowhere, temperature plummeted. Cold. Very cold. Goosebumps bloomed on every surface area of exposed skin. And just at the same time, the beam of my flashlight blinked and went dark. This made no sense, as I'd put in brand new batteries right before I left. I didn't bring backups because why would I need them? So I pulled out my little Nokia flip phone, thinking at least I could use a screen to guide me, but no sooner had I opened it up than, you guessed it, it died. Again, it was fully charged when I left. So at this point, I take out my camera and think maybe the flash will be enough to help me see where I'm going. And again, within seconds, my fully charged camera battery went dead. To this day, I have no idea how or why every electronic I brought with me shit the bed within 30 seconds of each other. But it left me in a dark so thick and silencing that I knew it was useless to keep going. When I tried to turn around and go back the way I'd come, which by all accounts of spatial logic should have been a straight shot, I found that I was lost somehow. I couldn't seem to find my way back to the initial staircase. Every turn I took seemed to bring me deeper and deeper into this maze of frigid air and slick walls. I swear it was so cold I could have seen my breath if I'd been able to make out anything in that darkness. And then I started to smell something. It was subtle at first, but it quickly intensified. It was like roadkill, but more acrid. Within seconds, it was overwhelming. I could smell it sticking to my clothes, taste it in the back of my throat. My eyes watered and my stomach retched as the smell of death surrounded me and made me dizzy. I clung to the wall as my top half hunched over in violent, dry heaves. Everything felt so utterly hopeless. I was alone, but not alone. I was certain then that I would die in that building, suffocate in the labyrinth of empty hallways until the smell of my own rot settled in alongside its predecessor. I have no concept of how long I was down there, moving in circles as I gagged and shivered, but eventually, my blown eyes saw a sliver of light. I moved towards it and tripped, falling chin first into the steps. I crawled up them, crawling towards the light. I still don't know if those were the same stairs I'd come down initially or if I'd somehow made my way to the other side of the school through the basement. But I didn't care. I just shot my foot through the shabby board that covered my exit, kicking it over and over until I'd made a hole large enough to accommodate me. I slithered out onto the grass, got to my feet, and ran like the devil was on my heels. When I reached my car, I projectile vomited what seemed like an impossible amount of orange bile onto the sidewalk. The girl from earlier appeared in the doorway of her house. She brought me a glass of water and said, "Told you." What she went on to tell me was this: that a local gang that dealt in heroin operated nearby, and that one of their members' little brothers had decided to make a name for himself by stealing some of their product. The thief was quickly deduced, and when he made a run for it, various members of the gang gave chase. In desperation, the kid decided to break into the Beehive School to hide and wait out his pursuers. They followed him in, and needless to say, they found him. It never made the news, to the best of my knowledge. She didn't tell me his name, and I was never able to confirm the events as she relayed them. But I know that something was in that basement. It didn't just smell like death down there, it felt like death. I'll probably never be able to explain the sensation of being down there, and as time goes by, I remember it with less and less clarity. I think whatever was in that basement took the part of me that wanted to die and kept it, confronted me with the realness that I needed to snap out of that toxic danger love, shook me and showed me that I was not, in fact, as tough as I thought, or as numb as I perhaps wished I was. I don't know if that was a conscious intent on its behalf, and as much as I can't rationalize any of it, I'll always be grateful that it happened.
Wow. I just want to say that was so well written and well read.
Thank you.
I would listen to you read like a 1,000,000-hour-long audiobook.
Thank you.
That was really well done.
Thank you.
And that's so scary. Holy shit.
At the time, it was really scary, but now it's like, it just feels like kind of dreamy.
Yeah. Do you know what the current state of that building is?
I looked it up not too long ago, and I think as of like 2018, 2019, they had rehabbed it into like a senior living
Fascinating.
home. Yeah. So the building itself is, again, that could have changed. That was like 6 years ago, but as of like I think like 2020, it was like a senior living center.
Okay.
And the outside of the building looked the same. The neighborhood from like the aerial view looked pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. It hadn't been like crazy developed or anything from what I could see. It's still there. Yeah. I have a bunch of pictures that I sent you.
Yeah, we'll definitely share those
They're very old.
on the gram.
I was not able to get any. I think I only managed to take like 2 or 3 pictures, like before my camera died in the basement, and they were just like, it was so dark, like even with the flash, you couldn't see anything.
That's so wild. It's crazy that everything just died.
Everything died.
Yeah.
So yeah, still don't know what to make of it, but
Did you do a lot of urban exploration after that?
I did not. I did almost none. The only other abandoned building I ever went into was one time in Philly. When I was going to school there, I went into this abandoned hotel called the Divine Lorraine. That was like a huge, really old, really cool hotel that was built in like the 1920s that had all kinds of other lore. And I went in with a classmate of mine, and we ended up finding an active meth lab in the building, and we had to like run for our lives.
Whoa.
And then after that, I was like, maybe I'm just gonna be done.
Were there people?
Yeah,
In the
there
meth?
were people.
Holy shit, that's also
Yeah,
so
there were people.
scary.
There were people cooking meth.
Oh my god.
Which we didn't know until after we had like gotten out. We just heard people, and we heard people be like, "What was that?" And then we just like started running, and then we could hear footsteps coming.
Wow.
And so we got out and like kind of went around side and hid and looked through the window. And when we looked through the window, we were like, "Oh fuck!"
Wow.
It was like a very well organized, like well run, like multi-person operation. So I'm glad we didn't stick around.
Me too.
I would still, I mean, if I found like, if there was like an abandoned house or something on the like side of the road in like rural Oregon or something, I'd totally go in. But I feel like it would just be, going into an abandoned building in Portland would just be, first of all, it'd be really hard to not get arrested.
Yeah.
And if you did go in, it would probably just be really depressing. Mm-hmm. Probably just be a lot of people doing drugs.
Yeah. When Jordan and I were living in Bloomington, there was this house down the street from us that was abandoned that he would go into a lot. And he got so much cool shit out of it. Like, I think that deer skull we got from it.
Oh, wild.
And he got these, like, old vintage, like, cigarette signs that he sold on eBay for, like, a ton of money. Like, just, like, kept going back and finding all this cool shit. And
Damn,
it's,
that's
like, abandoned.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's dreamy.
I know.
I never took, that's not true. I took one thing out of one abandoned building and I still have it. It was really weird. It was this, like old, not a Cupid doll, but kind of like, it looks like when Cupid dolls were popular, like if you couldn't afford to buy like a name brand Cupid doll, like maybe you bought this thing because it's like, it's trying to be a Cupid doll, but it's not quite. It like looks like a Cupid doll, but like sadder. And I found it in, I don't even remember which one of the buildings. I think it was like an industrial, like some kind of factory or something. And it like squeaks when you push it.
Aww.
I still have it. It's on my wall still. I've had it since I was like 15. Yeah.
It's a good find.
Yeah. Are you ready to share your story?
I am. All right, so when I was a kid, my Mamaw and Papa's house was supposedly haunted. I have vague memories of talking to a crying man. I was probably 4 or 5, but I'm not exactly sure what age I was. I wrote the following story as a dramatic retelling of the crying man events, but in the viewpoint of my Mamaw, who is the one who told me about this. One summer evening in the early 90s, I found my granddaughter in the dining room, staring out of our glass sliding door. When I asked what was wrong, she turned to me with a concerned look and asked, "Why is that man crying?" I peeked out of the glass door without seeing anything out of the ordinary and reassured her that there was nothing there. Later that evening, we sat down to supper with my husband, who had just woken up for his overnight shift at the coal mine. While gathered around the table, she looked past my shoulder with the same look of concern she had before. "Mamaw, why is the old man crying?" My husband asked her to show him the old man. She pointed to the glass door and said he was sitting inside. Feeling slightly spooked, we again reassured her that there was nobody there and quickly returned to the subject of school. The old crying man was quickly dismissed and then forgotten. A few days later, she was playing in the living room after school. I brought her some cookies as an afternoon snack. I found her sitting in the stairwell leading up to the upstairs bedrooms. She seemed to be deep in conversation. I asked her who she was talking to, and she answered once again, "I'm talking to the old man. Why is he crying?" I set down the cookies and told her that there was no crying man and that she needed to stop. She looked up at the stairs sadly and asked if the old man could have a cookie. A couple of weeks went by without incident. Then on a car ride home one afternoon, I heard some strange soft sniffling. I glanced back to check on her, and in the rearview mirror, I caught a glimpse of a dirty, white-haired man looking dismally out of the window. I quickly turned my head around and found my granddaughter alone with tears in her eyes. "Why is he so sad?" she asked. By the time night fell, I convinced myself that it was merely a mirage. My nerves had been acting up lately, and I had been a little on edge. There was no crying man. As I lay down in my waterbed, it was the 90s after all, I tried to shake off the lingering unease and drifted off to sleep to reruns of The Golden Girls. As I was nearing deep sleep, I was jolted awake by a loud bang. I looked over and noticed the photos on my dresser had all been knocked down. As I sat up to investigate, I was immediately paralyzed with fear as the waterbed started swaying uncontrollably. The TV flickered and the dresser drawers opened and slammed repeatedly. I screamed, and when I reached the light, everything stopped moving all at once. The next morning, I decided I had had enough, so my husband and I called the local pastor over to investigate. After hearing my story and exploring the house, he declared the presence of a dark energy. He immediately asked us to leave while he said he would do what he could to exorcise the spirit out of the house. As we waited outside anxiously, we heard a loud boom. We looked up and saw coal exploding out of the chimney. As the coal landed around us, we felt a strange sense of peace. Days later, I consulted with a psychic. I learned that my husband had brought home a spirit from the coal mine. I never found out why that man was crying, but I'm happy to have him out of my home and away from my granddaughter. Okay, so I've heard a couple of different versions of this story, and I asked my papa about it a year or two ago, and some of his details were a little bit different, but he did say that a priest blessed the house and that they hid a Bible between the 2 bedrooms upstairs, and that their neighbor told them that she saw coal bursting out of the chimney. And I also think that my younger cousin may have seen something similar, but I can't remember those specific details. Both Mamaw and Papa have passed, so I can't ask them for any more details, but I really like this story, and I'm glad that I don't see or talk to the old crying man anymore.
That is the image of you, little baby you, being like, "Can you have a cookie?" It's like really heartbreaking.
I think I have like these vague memories of like seeing him in the back of a car and in the window, but I also don't know if those memories are just from stories being told to me or if they're real memories, because like, I was so young when this all happened.
How old were you? Like 3, 4?
I think I was like probably like somewhere between 4 to 6.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess. Yeah.
So you might, I mean, you could definitely have memories from that age.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Like, my papa was a coal miner for so many years, and I just can't imagine, like, kind of shit that he's seen. Like, he, like, saw a bunch of people die during work, like, his, like, average work day. Like, it would not... I don't fully believe in ghosts, but if ghosts are real, it would not surprise me if he would have, like, got one from the coal mine. Like, if it just, like, attached itself to him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, too, is that I also don't know. I'm like, I don't know if I believe in, like, ghosts.
Yeah.
As they're portrayed or, like, proposed to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But I do believe that, like, tragedy leaves, like, an imprint.
Yeah.
On, like, the fabric of reality.
Yeah.
And maybe those of us who are have a little bit more empathy and are a little bit more sensitive can like pick up on some of those imprints from time to time, whether that be like in the form of seeing things or hearing things or like knowing things, or I don't know, you know what I mean? To me, that makes more sense than just being like, when you die, sometimes your energy stays behind and you float around and you look like you did when you were alive and people think it's really scary.
Yeah.
To me, that's like, I don't know. It feels like you're taking a lot of liberties with like how things work.
Sure. Yeah.
If you're just like, yeah, that's what it is.
I like that explanation.
I'm
Yeah.
like, keep it vague.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's weird things that we don't understand. But I do think that, experience, especially when it, like, creates a lot of intense emotion, I think that can hang around and, like, people can feel that in different ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything.
This house that they lived in, it recently got, like, completely remodeled. It looks unrecognizable, but I'm really curious if the hidden Bible is still upstairs between the bedrooms, and I hope so. I think that'd be such a creepy thing to find.
Yeah, if I found a Bible hidden in my walls, you best believe I'm burning that shit. Burning a Bible. I also had this really funny image of the pastor being like, you guys got to go outside while I take care of this, and then he just like goes around and steals things. Like, he would totally do that.
Pastor Don.
He's just, like, eating cereal out of the box and, like, trying on your grandpa's shoes and shit.
I grew up in such a small town. Like, we have, like, one main pastor, and I just picture him having been around since the dawn of time in Shelburne, Indiana. I don't know. I think he's still there.
He probably is.
Still wearing my papaw shoes.
Probably. Still pulling the same shit.
Shout out to Pastor Don.
Pastor Don, you dog.
So I grew up in a small town about 20 miles outside of Terre Haute, Indiana. And as a kid, I spent a lot of time ghost hunting around the Terre Haute area. And I wanted to share a few of my favorite legends from that area. The first one is the legend of Stiffy Green.
Stiffy?
Stiffy Green.
Sounds like an STD.
John Heinl died in 1920, and his sweet bulldog kept guard at his mausoleum until he himself was found dead on the mausoleum steps after having grieved himself to death. The dog was then stuffed, and his eyes were replaced with green glass marbles, and he was placed inside the mausoleum, visible through the entrance gate. It became a popular spot for local kids to explore. They would go to the cemetery and dare each other to go and peek in to see the stuffed dog that would growl at you while his eyes glowed in the darkness. They started calling him Stiffy Green, and the legend grew. At one point in the 80s, someone shot at Stiffy and knocked one of his marbles out.
Why?
He was moved out of the mausoleum for safekeeping. The Terre Haute Lions Club built a full-size replica of the mausoleum inside the County Historical Museum in 1989 and moved Stiffy to it, where he remains to this day.
So we could go to Terre Haute and visit Stiffy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
The real original
adorable.
Stiffy. I know.
Why would someone shoot Stiffy?
I don't know.
That's like that's awful. That's awful. You're gonna shoot a dead dog that died from a broken heart?
This just...
That's so sad. Are you looking up a picture of Stiffy Green?
No, I will post a photo of Stiffy Green to our gram.
Stiffy Green, if I had known how pure you were, I never would have said that you sounded like an STD, so I apologize. Also, I'm curious as to what your real name was.
I didn't search too long for Stiffy Green's real name, but in like the 4 articles that I read, it never mentioned it. Just that he was a bulldog.
Bulldogs are great. I've always loved them.
Bulldogs are good dogs.
They're so cute and sweet.
I wish. There's another Terre Haute legend is, I believe, Bottle Girl from Diesel Fest. And to be honest, I can't even remember the details. I think it's as like gross as your imagination is.
Bottle Girl from Diesel Fest.
Diesel Fest. There's a really big festival every year called Diesel Fest. And I think there was like this really like infamous incident with a girl in a bottle.
What'd she do with it?
I think she
Put
put
it
it
in her
vag, I think. I could be completely wrong about this, but I have
Why would she do that?
vague
Just because?
she's
Because it's
same
Indiana.
reasons that someone would shoot out Stiffy's eyes. I don't know.
For the thrill.
They're bored.
It's Indiana. What the fuck else are you gonna
Yeah.
do? Shoot dead dogs and put bottles in your snatch.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. So another fun legend from the area is called 100 Steps. The ritual is you go to the cemetery at midnight, climb the stairs, and you count each step aloud. At the top, you turn around and look for the ghost that will show you a visual of your own death. After that, you must immediately go back down, counting each step. If the final step count is different from the initial count, it is said that the vision will come true.
Oh, I like that.
And following that, we have a listener submitted story from my friend Kim that I would like to read you that is related to 100 Steps. When I was a teenager growing up in Terre Haute in the mid-2000s, there wasn't always a whole lot for me and my friends to do. We had a couple really great DIY music venues for a while called The Legacy and Coffee Break. After they closed down, our weekends needed something more fulfilling than loitering at various local businesses, so naturally, we turned to ghost hunting. There were plenty of local legends to check out in the surrounding counties, and my friend Lauren had just gotten her driver's license. These outings mostly involved driving around the winding back roads of rural Indiana without any real purpose other than to be out of our parents' houses. We didn't have any ghost hunting equipment, and we didn't like getting out of the car since a lot of the legends came with tales of local neighbors chasing trespassing kids away with guns. But the freedom and potential of seeing something creepy was exhilarating enough. One of the first times we ventured out was to a spot known as 100 Steps Cemetery, an old graveyard founded in the 1860s with a precarious staircase leading to the top of a small hill where the dead rest. Legend says to count the steps as you ascend. Once you reach the top, the spirit of the original groundskeeper will appear and show you a vision of your own death. You must then descend the stairs, and if you count any number other than the 100 on your way down, you'll meet your demise sooner than you can tell anyone what you saw. If you try to cheat by walking in the grass or veer off the steps at any point, the groundskeeper will push you down the hill, sometimes leaving a bright red handprint on your skin. Naturally, my friends decided this would be the perfect place to set up a Ouija board. Zach led the way in his Chevy Beretta, lovingly, oh my God,
It's a lot.
lovingly dubbed the oh my God, why can't I say this, Kim? Zach led the way in his Chevy Beretta, lovingly dubbed the Nintendo Mobile, due to the red Nintendo decals and racing stripe plastered across its surface, and Lauren followed behind. I was pretty nervous since I had already sworn off Ouija boards after having some unsettling experiences with them in the past. I had to do it though, right? This place was quite literally legendary. Not to mention, I had to look cool in front of my way too cool for me new boyfriend, Sam. Up we all went, counting the steps, trying not to trip, hearts beating out of our chests. Or maybe that was just me. We made it to the top. So far, so good. No groundskeeper in sight. No visions of death. We set up the Ouija board in a clearing surrounded by headstones. Sam decided he'd be in charge of the questions, and a few others joined him at the planchette. I stood a few feet away, reminding everyone, especially Sam, to be respectful of the dead, hoping that would score us some goodie points with anything malevolent that might be present. Sam started out with some basic questions. Is there anyone here who would like to speak with us? What is your name? Stuff like that. Then, in true Sam fashion, he started messing around. I can't remember what was said, but the planchette started cussing us out. The answers started sounding hateful. I'd seen enough and decided that was my cue to head back to the car. Lauren and Pat agreed with me, and the three of us went back down the stairs. I don't even think we counted. We were just ready to get back to the relatively safe car. About 15 minutes went by, and we finally saw everyone else come back down. I'm watching, praying that I don't see the ghostly groundskeeper following them and that no one falls. But then it happened. Zach tripped. He wasn't using the stairs, but walking in the grass next to them, just like the legend says not to. He recovered quickly, and everything seemed fine. We saw him talking to the others for a moment, and then everyone except for him came and got into Lauren's car. They told us he was being weird and didn't want anyone riding in his car for some reason. We all kind of just shrugged it off, thinking maybe he just wanted to get home since it was getting late. He took off, and we left a few minutes later after everyone got settled in. This is where things got really weird. As we were nearing town, we noticed Zach's car pulled off to the side of the road. Thinking he was having car trouble, we pulled off at the nearest gas station and tried calling his cell. No answer. Just as we were about to head his way, he called us back, clearly shaken by something. We told him to meet us at the gas station and tell us what happened. He said that when he fell on the hill, he felt like he was being pushed. That he had a vision of himself drowning me in a bathtub full of blood. He said he could feel the bubbles rising up his arms in the water as he held me down. That's why he didn't want anyone in the car, because he was freaking out and didn't think it was safe. As he drove away down that rural highway, his phone rang from an anonymous number. He answered, but no one was there, so he hung up. It rang again, dead air again, until someone said, "I got the gun." Confused, Zach asked, "Who is this?" But all the voice said was, "Look out." He looked up to see a man standing in the road. With no time to react, he hit him. The windshield smashed, spraying shattered glass all over the car. He pulled over as fast as he could, saw the blood on his car, on his hands, and felt sick to his stomach. He climbed out of the car and started vomiting in the grass, sobbing, thinking he had killed someone. He turned around to face the horrific aftermath of what had just happened. Only there was no shattered glass, no blood, no dead man, nothing. His car was fine. He was fine. He couldn't explain it. Zach and I dated for a few years a little later down the line, despite the visions of the bloody bathtub drowning. Should have been a red flag from the start, but I was young and dumb. For years, he swore on his mother's life that this was all true, and for a long time, I believed him. I don't really think that anymore. I think he was just a teenager looking for attention. But damn if he didn't freak us all out with a good story. I personally really love this story because this is just such like a snapshot of my teenage years. This is exactly the same shit that I used to do, like going to 100 steps, like even with the same people. Like there's this dude named Sam who shows up in this story who like 99% of every ghost hunting experience I had, somehow he was there. I haven't seen this guy like
Should reach out
since
to him
then.
and see if he wants to
maybe
read a little.
and he probably has. I mean, again, like he's like the common denominator of every like ghost hunting story at this time. So maybe he's seen some shit. But
I do think
love this.
that it's really interesting. Have you ever heard of this theory in quantum physics called the many worlds interpretation?
No.
So it is the idea of entering an alternative dimension after death. It suggests every quantum event causes the universe to split, leading to infinite parallel universes where every possible outcome occurs. I've heard a lot of stories recounted where people report like being in a horrible car accident and like having a vivid memory of it, like, and then all of a sudden it just didn't happen. So it's like it did happen, they died, but in dying they entered actually a different world.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's weird because it is usually like in some reference to some kind of like accident.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a suicide attempt. Mm-hmm. It's it's just a theory, but it is sounding familiar.
Yeah.
Within.
Yeah.
Maybe like according, by this theory, if we're going off of that, right? Like maybe he really did hit someone, they died, he died, or
mm-hmm.
he like. I don't know. Maybe it shot off in a different direction. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah, I like that. Or maybe he's just a fuckboy looking for attention.
That's more likely.
Yeah, but I like your theory better.
I think my theory is fun and exciting, and the other theory is probably the correct one.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen this person. Zach, I'm really curious if he still stands by this story. Zach, if you're listening,
are you full of shit?
Are you full of shit, or did you die?
Are you full of shit, or is there some quantum? So is there some Albert Einstein shit going on?
Yeah.
Is there some string theory shit?
Call in and let us know. I think Zach ran for like mayor of Terre Haute at one point.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So in this timeline, he runs for mayor. Maybe in another timeline, he won.
Whoa. What a world.
In another timeline, he's dead.
Yeah.
Or he went to jail for, vehicular homicide. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this guy's still alive. If he is dead, I'm so sorry if we have offended any of his friends.
No, I just meant in that alternative timeline, hypothetically,
Yeah.
where he, hit the person. No.
Yeah.
He's
I also called him a fuckboy, so.
Right. So if we...
I'm sorry, Zach. I don't know you anymore. I hope you're
Zach,
alive and doing well.
Zach, if we've just spoken ill of you and you're dead or you're not doing well, we apologize.
Yeah, call in and let us know.
But if you're normal and you're chilling, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. We have another listener story. Would you like to read it?
Yes. This story is by Joe. Hello, Genevieve and Haley. Here's a ghost story for y'all. It's a short one. When I was about 9 or 10, so either 1989 or 1990, I went on a nighttime hayride in an apple orchard called Green Bluff in my hometown of Spokane, Washington. My mom was a Girl Scout leader and took me along with my sisters and her troop around Halloween. I was sitting in the very back of the wagon with my little sister, who was about 5 years old, and remember looking into the rows of apple trees and seeing what looked like an apparition of a woman leaning against a tree. She was transparent, with a neon pinkish glow, which I can only compare to the librarian ghost from Ghostbusters. Her clothes were from the Victorian era, wearing a big bonnet and billowy dress. I believe she was looking at me because I remember being scared shitless the whole night and was not able to sleep. It definitely was not a Halloween prop, as projections or any type of that technology didn't exist then. I thought that my little sis had seen her too, and asked her about it recently, but unfortunately she has no recollection. And that's that.
I love it.
You know, he doesn't mince words. He's like, here's the story. And it's a great story. It's very impactful. I love that scene in Ghostbusters. I feel like anybody that was born in the 80s or 90s knows that exact scene in Ghostbusters where they're in the library and they see the ghost and she's just like has her back to them and she's like looking through books. That's like my first memory of like seeing like a ghost in like
Ghostbusters?
like in pop
Nice.
culture, like
Yeah.
media. It was Ghostbusters.
It's a classic. It's a classic. I love like just the classic old school like Victorian era ghost. I would love to
it's
see
kind
one.
of classic. It's kind of like the so many sightings of the lady in white.
Yeah. I've
Like
never-
that kind of thing. I don't know. I just feel like Victorian ladies were just so inherently drawn to tragedy and had so much tragedy befall them because of the time that they were alive. I mean, shit probably sucked for so many reasons. Being a woman in Victorian era, you had no rights, horrible diseases,
Childbirth. Can you imagine?
no contraception, no form of like period devices. You couldn't vote. You had no say in anything. You had to wear a corset.
Oh. No wonder
mean-
they are not at rest.
Yeah, and then there were wars, and so then like your husband goes off or whatever, and I mean, just what a horrible time to be alive.
Yeah.
Just what a horrible time to be alive. No wonder they're all walking around lamenting.
For real.
Like straight
For
up.
real.
They had no reason to be happy.
God.
Except for that one ghost in that one cemetery that we talked about the week before last that just walked around laughing.
That's the way to do it, folks.
She was enlightened.
Yeah. She got some of that 21st century weed.
Maybe she did. I would love
No,
to.
weed existed then, but did people smoke it then?
I'm sure some people did.
Yeah, she probably did. She was cool.
Maybe somebody got her stoned, and that's why she was giggling. I would love to smoke weed with a ghost.
If your forever spirit just like wanders around in the same state that you died in, then I want to die high. I want to die
Absolutely.
giggling.
Absolutely. 100%. To just be in like a limbo state where you're like kind of stoned in a
Yeah.
cemetery. That sounds actually quite awesome. Objectively pretty awesome.
Yeah. That rules.
I've been stoned in cemeteries many, many, many times. I've never had a bad experience.
Then, I mean, that's what we should do like 24 hours a day then. Just like be stoned in the cemetery.
Maybe that's what we should do for our next investigation.
I'd
Maybe
love
we
that.
should go to a cemetery, like a cemetery that's known for paranormal experiences, and we should just get really stoned and see if that makes us more open
Let's go to the giggling lady one.
Yeah. Let's go there and get stoned and see if she wants to hang out with
Okay.
us.
I like that. We'll do that next.
Okay, we're going to do that. That's going to be a fun one, too.
That'll be so fun. Okay. We have one more story from our wonderful producer, editor,
Haley's husband.
my husband.
It's a really good story.
Yeah.
I heard it once, but I don't really remember it, but I just remember being terrified.
It's scary. So,
It's really scary.
all right. So stay tuned.
Jordan is the first guest that we've ever had on the podcast.
He is.
I'm not wearing as cozy enough clothes as you
No.
guys.
Nope.
Dang.
But it's okay. We'll allow it.
Would you guys like to hear the paranormal or true crime first? Because I have both.
Oh, whoa. I didn't know you had both. I want to hear
I
true
got
crime
both.
first because I've never heard
I
the
was
true
going to
crime.
say, I think true crime first, and then we should finish with paranormal.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go back to 1996.
How old were you in
Oh.
1996?
I was 10.
Okay. All right.
And that summer, for about 4 or 5 months, the cities of Warsaw and Winona Lake, Indiana, was terrorized by the bicycle burglar or bicycle bandit.
Whoa. Was it you?
It was not me.
Okay.
And it seemed like every couple of nights, some house would get broken into, and he would mostly steal cash, but just like small things, and then ride off on his bicycle.
Wow.
And it got to the point where the local police were climbing up into trees in the rich neighborhoods to like wait for him because it happened so often. So
They
they're
were
like
staking out the trees.
they were up in the trees like they're hunting a deer or something.
That's insane.
I love Indiana.
Yeah. And so they would go up there and just wait and, just kind of hoping they chose the right neighborhood. And at that same time, I was really into animals. Well, still am, but I started this pet sitting business for my neighbors and I guess like my parents' friends. When they would go on vacation, I would go over and like feed and water the animals and walk the dogs. And I was getting ready to do my last trip for this like rescue greyhound. It was summer, so it had to be kind of late because it was dark. But anyway, got over there, and as I'm getting ready to put my key in the door, I noticed that the wood was like split. I was like, I don't think it was like that before, but I don't know. So I like started to put it in, and the door just like opened really easy. And again, I'm wondering like, oh, did I fuck up and not close this door correctly? But I was pretty good about that kind of thing. Like, I don't think I would have not locked the house. Anyway, I walked in and I started giving the greyhound some water, and then I heard just like this like click, like a little bit, not like a gun click, but just like a shuffle in the back room. I grabbed myself, locked the door, closed, and ran home. And I don't know for sure if I was in the same house as the bicycle bandit, but it seemed like it.
Whoa.
Seemed like somebody was in there. And I think they got home the next day, and I let them know, and they called the police, and they like made sure nothing was missing, and I don't think anything was missing. And I still wonder if they thought that I fucked up their door, or the bicycle. I mean, the bicycle bandit was in the news like every day, so it was on the top of everybody's mind.
Did they ever catch the bicycle bandit?
And then as summer came to an end, November, the cops up in the tree, I guess they saw him either going to or leaving a house, and they ended up tackling him and wrestling him, and he like wiggled out of there, and he got away, and that was the last time that anybody heard, like the last like
Whoa.
serial burglary, and he was never caught.
Ah!
I love that.
Yeah, I've looked it up online so many times over the last, decade, just hoping like, oh, he's finally been caught. But no,
How
it's like
ballsy
nobody.
to use a bicycle as your means of escape.
Yep.
You must be pretty confident in your cycling abilities.
Yeah.
Or you just don't have a car.
But then I don't have a car. I wouldn't try and rob a bunch of places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what if you need to make a quick getaway?
True.
But then again, you see a guy on a bike, that's probably pretty inconspicuous looking. You're just like, oh, they're riding their bike.
Well, if the cops are up in trees, you have like a good like getaway time. Like you have time before the cops are gonna get down from the
The
tree.
cops are up in trees staking out rich people's houses. It just really shows you how much time they have on their hands.
Yep. But I've like thought about making a short documentary on this, but there's really just not like the information I gave you. That's like no one publicly has said, oh, I actually know who he is. It's like I think if I started looking, I just wouldn't get anywhere.
If the bandit came forward today, would have enough time pass that he's like is off the hook?
I don't know what the statute of limitations is
don't
on
know
that.
either.
I'm guessing that it would probably be chill because it's been, what, like 25 years?
Yeah, something like that.
If you are the Warsaw Bicycle Bandit, we will pay for your legal fees to come forward so Jordan can make a documentary about you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Buy
As long
you
as the
dinner,
legal
too.
fees are under $200.
As long as the legal fees are free, we will pay for them.
And you buy us dinner.
Yes. We will represent you in court. And Jordan will make you a documentary.
Yep.
And you'll be rich.
Yes. Maybe. Someday.
You'll make a lot of people excited,
Yeah.
like from that time period, because
Was the dog...
It was the top of the news.
Was the dog a nice... Like, would the dog have been chill with a stranger coming into their house and, like, going through shit?
I don't know.
Was it a calm dog from what you remember?
I mean, it was a greyhound, like an older greyhound. And they're not really, like...
They're kind of like big cats.
Yeah. I don't think it's like a style or a breed of dog that's going to protect your house.
Yeah.
So...
Probably just be like,
Probably heard the door break, got scared, and
No.
then I showed up however many minutes later.
What do you think your dogs would do if a bicycle bandit came into your house?
They would bark a lot.
Would they eat him?
I don't
No.
think so.
No.
No, because we've had, like, when we were out of town, our dog sitter's boyfriend came, and they had never met her boyfriend, and he was fine to, like, come in and, like, feed them and shit. So, given that, I think that maybe his energy was, I'm sure his energy was fine and chill and cool.
I feel like they'd
but
be able to sense if somebody
Yeah.
came in with, like,
yeah.
bad intentions.
Yeah.
It's different if somebody comes in with a key or a lock code opposed to pounding and like breaking down the door.
That's true. That's true.
I think if somebody broke into my apartment, they'd be absolutely fucked unless they had, like, a lot of sandwiches with them. If they just threw sandwiches.
You got some big dogs.
That's the way to break in.
But if they had, like, glue for sure. If they came in and they had, like, a tote bag full of Subway, it would be, he'd be like, eh.
Take whatever.
Just keep putting sandwiches in his face.
That's
and
a fair
he'd be
trade.
Like, yeah, and then if glue was fine, Darby would probably just be like,
All right.
That's a good story. I like
that's
the
the
Bicycle
way.
Bandit.
I do too. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
You never heard that?
Uh-uh.
Oh, damn. That's a really fun story.
Back in my pet sitting adventures.
That's also insane to me that you were pet sitting when you were 10.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
That's really young. Entrepreneur from a young age.
Look at him. Got him still going.
Let's hear the other story.
Yeah, tell us your scaries.
Okay, the paranormal one. So, this is the same neighborhood. 7 houses down from the Greyhound. I don't know what year it was, but I was 18. I moved out of my mom's house pretty much like as soon as I was old enough. And at the point of moving, I just had my car, so I was just taking multiple loads from my mom's house of my stuff to the new house. And it was getting late, and I was like, I'm going to do one more trip tonight. So I got back, and all the lights are off in her house, and grab however many loads to put in my car. And as I'm leaving, I go and to the top of the stairs. So when you walk in the house, you kind of go to an entryway, and you have the option of going up a few stairs or down a few stairs. Anyway, so I was at the top of those stairs, and I'm starting to walk down in the dark, and I remember thinking, like, oh, I could turn on the light, and then I was like, oh, okay, I've lived here for 18 years. I can navigate this house with a blindfold. I don't walk down those stairs, and as I'm, like, right at the bottom, in the corner, I see, like, a darker than dark mass, and I was like, I just thought it was a stronger shadow. I don't know, so I got a little bit closer, and this thing just turns around at me, and it's just like gnarled teeth just burying it right in my face. So my heart exploded, and I went up the stairs as fast as I could to hit the light, and I accidentally hit the light for the 2 lights that are on the outside of the door, and both of those bulbs at the same time exploded. Not exploded, but burn out. And then I got out of there as quick as I could. If those bulbs wouldn't have blown, I think it would have been just my mind going wonky, or just like me making it up, seeing something in the dark that's not there. But because they blew, it seems like too much of a coincidence.
So, Did you have to go past where it was to get out?
Yeah.
And
But the light was on and it wasn't there anymore.
So which light was on? So the two outside blew.
Mm-hmm.
So which light went on?
And then I hit the center
Oh,
switch,
then you hit
which
the
turned
okay.
on the
And when
the
you turned
entryway
it,
light.
when you turn on that light, you didn't see any trace of anything?
No.
When his mom was here this summer, I tried. She doesn't know this story, but I was trying to hint at it, or just trying to get her to tell us something scary that's happened in that house, but she didn't have anything.
Yeah, she said nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing weird just happened there.
Did you end up changing those bulbs?
No. And my mom was sleeping at the time,
Or
so
tell
I left.
anybody that they had burned out?
I don't remember if I told her about the bulbs burning out.
But I mean, I'm sure if she had woken up and been like, bulbs burn out all the time, she probably would have just changed them and not thought anything of it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess all you could think of is oh, weird, they both burn out. Okay, I gotta change too.
What do you remember? So you just saw the teeth mostly? Or do you
teeth.
remember?
And I remember it seemed like it was kind of a hairy thing.
Like bat-like?
Sasquatch.
I mean, I guess bats and dogs are kind of the same.
More dog-like?
But it's still not even dog. I don't know, just troll.
Okay.
More of that
or
style
goblin-y.
of yeah.
Yeah. Whew, I got
That's scary.
the shivers.
Yeah.
So creepy. Have you ever seen anything? Have you ever seen any other paranormal things since then? Or anything similar?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember. Nothing quite that extreme. If anything at all.
That's so... I feel like I would not recover from that. I don't know how you were able to just be
I think my heart pounded for a half an hour.
Did you tell anybody about it immediately after it happened?
I might have. I was living with a guy named Andy at the time, and I might have told him.
Okay.
But also, we were drinking a lot. We probably just got there and we cracked a bunch of beers, and I don't know.
I could also see it being I want to forget that just happened kind of thing. But knowing me, I'd probably be like, yo!
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
It was a little bit uncomfortable leaving my mom sleeping there. But
yeah.
I mean, what am I going to do? Hey, Mom, I saw...
Was she alone in the house?
Pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think she was married at the time. Yeah, I mean, hey, Mom, I saw a weird teethy goblin in the corner. Just letting you know.
How tall
I don't know what
was it?
Was
it was it approximately your height?
Well...
Because you were above it.
I'm going to try to imitate it, even though this is audio, but at least for them to see. So, I don't know, it was this mass right here in the corner, and then it just kind of went
down.
Ah.
Oh, damn.
And it probably didn't get any higher than this, but I just saw it, just turn.
Because for some reason, I think I was imagining that scene at the end of Blair Witch where the guy is standing in the corner. So I was imagining someone in a corner and then turning around.
No, it was
hunched.
Yeah, hunched and crouched, and then it turned.
Ooh. When you say that it was darker than dark, that's really creepy because I've had another person who experienced a really creepy paranormal thing describe what she saw as a shape that was darker than dark.
Was it a demon related? Was it demon related or creature related?
I'll just tell her story really quick because it's similar, not similar, but she described what she saw as looking like one of those. Remember those pop-up laundry hampers, the cylindrical ones that we all had when we were in college?
Yeah.
That you could they had a spring inside, a coiled spring, and you could compress it, and then it would pop open.
Uh-huh.
She said it was like that, but
I think they also make dog agility courses out of those.
Exactly, yes.
Whoa.
She said it looked like that in the shape, but it was so big that it was almost at the ceiling. So it was like a giant, darker than dark cylinder.
Did it have a face?
Nope.
Oh.
But it would shuffle towards, because she was in bed, and she said that it would shuffle towards her. And she had 2 small dogs at the time. They were both on the bed with her. And they were growling at it. And every time, and she said it was like one of those situations where she was like paralyzed with fear. And as it would shuffle towards her, it would make this kind of like, like almost like a jingle. But the reason I asked you why, if there was anything like left after it disappeared, is because she said like she put the covers over her head, and when she took them off, it was gone, but she could see this kind of like, I think she described it as like the air was like burnt where it had been, so she could see kind of like a dark like aura or like shadow in the air of where it had been.
That's so scary. I think the scariest part is the dogs growling, because there's like so much you can just like chalk up to like your mind, but if your dogs are also like seeing it and responding to it,
Yeah, a secondary thing happening to...
yeah. There are so many times where I'll like be worked up and scared about something, but I'll be like, okay, the dogs are like chill, they're not
I do that
nervous,
too.
and if they're not nervous, I'm not nervous.
I do that too.
So if the dogs were like reacting, that would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, it kind of just confirms.
Yeah.
But it's like what you said of it being like darker. Like the room was dark, but it was like darker than the dark room.
Yeah. Like there's a certain amount of light in the darkness.
Right.
That should be illuminating the corner, but yeah, something there is just soaking it all in.
What do you think it was?
I don't really believe in any of that stuff, but I mean, in that world, it seems more like a demon than like Casper.
Yeah, that I agree, because I also don't believe, because there's a biblical context to
Yeah.
like demons as they're represented on all the like silly ghost hunting shows,
Yeah.
and I think that's ridiculous.
I like the thoughts of different dimensions.
Maybe it was
and like something that just like plopped into this dimension for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe
and
it was
scared
just like,
me,
whoops!
and I scared it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god.
Yeah. Yeah, it was literally like one of those scenes in the movies where you saw it and you were like, ah! And it was like, ah!
Yeah.
And then it was like, I gotta get out of here.
Sorry.
Yeah, maybe it was a Bigfoot.
Maybe it's
Because we've talked about Bigfoot being interdimensional. Maybe it was him.
It's probably Bigfoot. I mean, I think Bigfoot's a good explanation for any mystery.
I agree.
Does it have big feet?
Didn't see its feet. Pretty
We'll
much
never
just
know.
torso and head only.
Yeah.
If you were the thing that Jordan saw in his mom's house, please call in or send us an email.
Do you have big feet?
If you have big feet, send us an email.
And pictures.
And also a
Good
picture of your
pictures.
feet. Send us... We can't ask for foot pics.
Only if they're big. Abnormally big.
If you have giant feet and you're an interdimensional being, send us pictures, send us an email, and also call in so we can talk to
If
you.
you send us a dick pic, I'm suing you. For money.
We'll use the same legal defense as the bicycle bandit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We will sick the bicycle bandit on you.
No dicks. No dicks.
No dick.
No dicks. Mm-mm. I think we finished on a high note. That was a scary story.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was really fun. Do you have any holiday traditions that you're looking forward to?
We like to drive around on Christmas Eve and look at all the lights.
Nice.
And last year we drove around to kind of like a well-to-do area, like kind of up on a hill.
Alameda.
Where the cops are in trees.
That's right. And we were apprehended by some cops. They jumped out of the trees and they pulled us off our bicycles. But there was like a house that was empty, or like it was being renovated, so it was like not inhabited. And so we like went through the backyard and kind of like sat in the backyard of this house, like right on the hill, and like got a really nice view of the city, so that was nice.
It's lovely.
I would imagine that people probably live there now, so we won't be doing that this year, but we'll probably still like drive around and look at the lights, and we always buy each other VHS for Christmas, so
Cute.
I'm excited to find some
Nice.
for him. And you?
On Christmas Eve, we always make my mama's Midwestern taco salad, which is like this really silly recipe that kind of sounds gross, but it's actually really good.
I love it.
Yeah, it's ground beef and lettuce and cheese and tortilla chips and French
French dressing.
dressing.
I love French dressing.
Yeah. We do that, and then we make his mom's cookie recipe, sugar cookies, on Christmas Eve. And then we FaceTime with fam on Christmas Day.
Cute.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
A nice little tradition.
We always do the technology struggle
Yeah, always.
with getting everybody hooked up, and then you can't hear somebody. And
No one in Indiana has good Wi-Fi. Y'all in Indiana needed to get it together with your Wi-Fi.
Get it together. Come on.
I hope all y'all listeners have a great holiday, and thank you to Kim and Joe for submitting stories. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, and thank you to Jordan for telling his stories.
Yeah,
they were really
thank you,
fun.
Jordan.
And thank you for thank you for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for writing in. Thanks for listening again. That's all we got. That's all she wrote.
Merry Christmas.
Good night.
This episode edited by 88.8.